Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. Another episode of Punn, Entended podcast. We got Bishop, we got No Beard Chris, and we got a special guest today. When we talk about pride of the city, certain things come about, certain names come about, but then you got guys who take it another level. You know, you got guys who they represent their home unapologetically every chance they get. And not only that, some of those guys are accomplished in what they do, reach the mountaintop, so to speak. We have a club DJ, tour DJ, Camp, one of the biggest, most influential faces and names in the city of Atlanta. We got brother DJ Calvin in the building.
I need you to do all my speaking things now. You do all my intros now. Killing DJ Khaled.
Well, thank you, man. You know, that's the third time I've heard that in the last couple of days. I think I'm going to take this intro stuff a little more serious, brother.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us in all seriousness, man. We appreciate you. We've been trying to get you up here. We need that voice up here right now. And, you know, we're going to start off with, we got to start with being at home. You, and I mean this, you embody the fabric of this city. I'm not talking about the bottles and models. I'm talking about Freaknik, Yeet, Crunk, that mosh pit music that we love and grew up to. You know, talk about growing up and how that has always stuck with you, man.
Well, I guess the reason why I embody it so much is because of Big Like you said, like Camp, coming up in the Camp and being like on DJ Jelly coattail, following him around, shadowing him. I seen what it took for that music to really get out here to the world. So it means something different to me. You know what I mean? Like, when I was a kid, it really wasn't no Atlanta DJs on radio. You know, and some other people had to fight to get like Lil Jon on the radio and get Jelly on the radio. You know what I'm saying? And started like really breaking that down like that, you know, to where, okay, our music can get played on the radio. Cause y'all know how it go with the playlisting and everything. That's never went like anywhere. That was like back in the day too, you know, except it was like a New York playlist, you know, so they came and changed that, and I'm thankful for that. So I always remember that, you know, still to this day, you know, so we have to kind of embrace our roots, you know. So now I'm at that stage with it. Now I want the young DJs to embrace, you know, the past, our culture, what we are.
I didn't realize how, because you never hid the fact that you was Camp, but then but I remember me and my mom and my sister, we used to go to Q Time. And, you know, Camp tape CDs and tapes was like in the same little plaza, and it didn't hit me until I seen a picture of you in that store, and I was like, bro, this man is Atlanta royalty. You know what I mean? And so let's go back to when you started DJing up to getting with Camp. Like, take us down that timeline.
Man, I really started because of DJ Jelly. Jelly and MC Assault. They were making these mixtapes.
Yep, I know.
And it was blowing my mind, and I wanted to figure out how is this possible? How can you mix all these songs together on one tape? So I just started like trying to find Jelly and follow Jelly everywhere. And I just had a passion for it. So I just did my thing on my own, but I was always about supporting Jelly and MC Assault. Even until when I had a job at Kinko's, and I started like doing the prints for like the CD covers and all the stuff like that, you know, and that's kind of how I got into it, because I went from that, like managing a store at Kinko's, to was like, I need you to manage one of my record stores that same way. And I really was running the stores, but y'all remember like when Walk It Out got big with DJ Hump? That record got so big, and that's like really like the first like real hit record from Camp. Like we
like nationally.
Nationally. Like we got records that are legendary in the city and the region. But as far as like number one on the charts, it was Walk It Out. We had never been that busy before. So Jelly ain't had time to make no mixes. Monte ain't had no time to make mixes. DJ Shorter Rock. Everybody was busy.
And by the way, DJ Monte did produce
Walk It Out. Yep. So it came a point to where it was like, well, the store's finna shut down because ain't no mixes. So then it was like, okay, now I got to do my thing. Because I've been doing it like in the background, like just for myself, learning how to do it. But now I got to do it to keep the legacy going.
That makes sense.
Yep, and that's how I got started.
So was you ever at any other, I think the flea markets?
Yeah.
Candler Road?
Candler Road. That's what my dad used to get them.
Candler Road.
I found out about it on Candler Road. And then I went to the south side and then I found out.
Man, Candler Road was like legendary, man.
Still legendary.
So much stuff happened in there, man. Like, that's where you learn how to hustle it. I learned to hustle.
Candler Road Flea Market.
Candler Road Flea Market.
How many hours you think you did at in one day at the flea market?
Oh, those shifts was like 10-hour shifts. That wasn't there. But the West End, like where you know about it. Now that's why I put in work at. I would get up 6 in the morning, open the store at 7, and I wouldn't leave till like 3.
But when you left and you seen what you did and what you made, you waking up the next day.
Oh yeah, definitely. 6 o'clock, I go home, sleep for 3 hours, and get right back up.
Robot.
And there used to be a point to where Uncle used to ride by and be like, "Hey, man, just check on you, see if you all right." I'm like, "I'm good." You're like, "All right."
All right, no.
You're like, "I see you want it." Like, "Yeah, I want it." Like, this is what I was doing, you know. Shout out to DJ Mist. That was another DJ that was upcoming too. He's in Austin, Texas now. But yeah, we would be in that store to 3 in the morning, working on mixes. And the crazy part, we had that thing so lit. I still have customers coming up to that late.
2, 3 in the morning.
2, 3 in the morning. We put a grill out, started barbecuing at the Q time close, all that, man.
And you finding out like what's hot, like what's the hottest shit in the city.
Yep, getting it direct.
Cause you know what they coming to buy or what they coming to get. You like, oh, this who hot.
Yep.
So let's go back for a second to those Camp days, because I remember Baby D, rest in peace, Lil C, man. Loco Lunatic, Hitman Sammy Sam. You know what I'm saying? Like all this shit was like, I didn't realize how local my mind was until I realized niggas from I knew some people from New York and they never heard of T.I. when I'm Serious came out. So I'm like, okay, if they ain't heard of this nigga, I know they ain't heard of goddamn Baby D and Lil C. You know what I'm saying? Like just talk about, because these were big records to us. Knuckle Up. Let's get Buck off in this thing.
Yeah.
East Side versus West Side. This is big shit to us,
legendary regional music. That's why I say like regional music, because back then there was no internet. You know, and the chokehold on radio was way different than now. You know what I mean? So
talk about that. Talk that real quick. Touch on that, like how the chokehold was different on radio from then compared to now.
Like I said, with the playlisting and all, so the powers that be, you couldn't get to them. Everything come out of New York. So if you ain't in the circle of New York, you ain't getting no love. You know, the playlist come from New York, go down to DC, and then go out to everybody. This is what y'all playing. So this is why, like, okay, we at the bounce, and we know what's hot in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And then you turn the radio on and you hearing some, you know, it ain't no disrespect to nobody, not saying like that, but you hearing like, say like Wu-Tang or something, and they're like, this ain't what I just heard in the club.
Down here like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like that's why it was like regional like that. And the same thing, you know, with even with New York, you know, at that time, it was certain New York rappers that was hot in the streets that couldn't get on the radio. You know, this is what it is out here. And then these the rappers out here for the West Coast. These the rappers. This who we rocking with This is what it is. You ain't getting on. You know, so it was a different time, different era. And that's why I give a salute to like DJ Jelly, because Jelly a person that's so diverse in music and had a love for the music to where he would take people on the road, like 8 Ball MJG. I see him take them on the road and go in different markets just to like break their music to new people. You know, same thing with Outkast and the Dungeon Family. Our office, I used to see, they practice down there. Jay used to have them practicing and all this type of stuff in the beginning. And same thing, when the opportunity came for Jelly to go do something, they go on the road with him. You know, so it is what it is when it comes to the regional thing. But all those songs hit, like, and then you got labels get in the way. So a lot of people don't know this about Baby D, but Baby D had a major deal. It was a merger between, I want to say it was Sony and Columbia had the merger back in the day. And Baby D was signed, I think, to Sony. It was either Sony or Columbia, one or the other. But they wanted to go with a song that they liked, and then we were trying to tell them about East Side, West Side. We were trying to diss the record.
Hold on. He had a deal when East Side, West Side was popping in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I had no clue. Go ahead.
Yeah, he had the deal. They ended up liking this song because had an artist named Drew. He was a white artist. Mm-hmm. So they ended up picking that song, and they wanted to shoot the video for that because they wanted to put Bone Crusher in there because, you know, Bone Crusher was popular, like, across the nation because he had a nationwide hit. So they're like, okay, we're going to use this video. And, you know, this song, shoot the video for this, do all this. It came out on MTV and everything, but it didn't hit. You know what I'm saying? And then right after that, that's when the merger came. And when the merger came, they kind of locked everything down. Whichever one, it had to be Columbia because Beyonce still on Columbia because Beyonce was on the label too at that time. And this was when I met her dad, Mr. Knowles, because when everything locked down, they were like, oh no, ain't nothing coming out. But Beyonce album was supposed to come out. And Mr. Knowles was like, bro, I don't care what they saying, this coming out. Like, this man came up in the store putting up stuff himself.
What store we talking about? Store?
The Oomp Camp record store.
Which one?
Matthew Knowles.
Camelton Road.
Matthew Knowles came to Camelton Road putting up Beyonce shit.
Beyonce and say, I'm going to all of them. I'm going to every record store.
That shit came out.
And it came out.
Goddamn right. Dangerous in Love came out.
That's why I salute him. Like, I learned through these stores, I learned a lot of stuff about the game. And that's what I learned. Now take that lesson. I'll show you how that kind of works to today. So now let's take Russ. And people knew Russ was signed to a major at this partnership, but they kept missing on the records. The records we were trying to tell them, they're like, well, we like this. They kept wanting Russ to kind of go pop because he white. You know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he can get this audience, this and that. I'm like, no. This what he do. This who he is. We ain't being fake. So Best on Earth. We trying to tell them this the record. Nah, we don't know about that. All right, Russ. Look, you in the game now. You got a little break. Give me I'm going to push this myself. I'm going to go out here myself. In my mind, all I was thinking about was Beyonce dad. If this man did it, I can do it.
So, not to cut you off, but did Russ come to the flea market? Like, how did you meet Russ?
I met Russ so Old National Discount Mall, that store, we had somebody working at McIvan. That's Russ' best friend.
So Russ from Atlanta?
Yeah, well, he's a military brat, but this is where he been at the longest, Atlanta.
So he lived close.
Like, he grew up here.
He stayed
he
close.
He claims
to
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right.
So he stayed. Where did he live? Like, he was close to Old National.
Nah, he stayed in Roswell.
And he came all the way to Old Nat.
Mac was shipped out to Roswell High.
What you mean?
He was shipped out. Remember that thing George Bush had, that No Child Left Behind?
Mm-hmm. Who is Mac?
That's Mac is McIvan. That's Russ's best friend. Okay. So that's who's working the record store with me. Sometimes when I post on Instagram, you'll see me and somebody in there. That's McIvan. That's kind of like my mentee. Like that's my right hand. That's who I'm
Russ
grooming.
came on the strength of him. Like he know him.
Yeah. So he like, look, I'm at this record store, you know, and Russ used to come up there.
So what you mean by military brat? Like his pops was in the military?
Like, you know how military brats move around?
Right.
That's how it was. Like, yeah, like he's his dad and them, they're from like Sicily. Then he came to New Jersey. Then he went to, I want to say Charlotte, somewhere in the Carolinas. Then he ended up in Atlanta.
So how old was he when he met you?
Russ was like, what? I want to say 15 or 16.
Wow. That's why y'all so close.
Oh, yeah. Them my brothers. You see when I put the post up, I'm serious. Like, Russ, Mac, and Boogis, them like my brothers. Like, I feel like I kind of helped raise them. So it's like, I don't play by them three.
So he came to the, on Old Nat, he came to the store.
Yep, used to come up to the store. Every time he drop a song, he knew that was going to be the one.
15?
Yeah.
16?
Yeah. Like, all that, like, it's, Russ ain't never changed. His attitude, his energy ain't never changed. He always knew he going to be a star. He was like, man, this the one. He used to drop albums back then, though. He used to drop a whole album. Like, this album is going to get me through
So
here.
was he recording himself back then?
Yeah, he was doing it himself. It's him and Boogis.
Wow.
He said he recorded like 13 albums in 1 year. I think I heard him.
Now
say
he did
that shit.
over the course of about, I want to say, till he was out of high school. Till he's about, I say till about 19 or so. Yeah, he recorded like 10 albums.
So what's his, you've been in the studio with him, what's his process? Like, how do he start, do he write? How do he do it?
Nah, that's the thing, Bishop. I never go in the studio with him. Like, I rarely go in the studio with artists.
Why is that?
'Cause I feel like if I rock with you on your artistry, you supposed to hold that down. Like, I might give you a suggestion. Like, for instance, I told Russ, once he started getting some awareness, it got kind of stagnant for a moment. So I was like, well, everybody think you just one way. We need to make a mixtape, and we need to just show, how versatile you are. And he was like, well, I don't want to do a mixtape because that's what everybody do. I said, no, not like everybody else. Like, records that you like. Like, it don't matter if they new or old. Just take these records that you like and make them your way. And he ended up calling it like How to Rob, the project. And the project went good. Like, one of the songs he redid, one of T-Pain records, I Can't Believe It. He ended up redoing that. And it did so good the way he had to do it on the road. Like, they love it. You know?
That was like some SoundCloud type shit.
Yeah, so I do things like that with artists. But it's like, I want it to come from the artist because, I want it all organic, real. I want it to be you. I don't like that industry stuff, And I know how the game go. I know, like, okay, yeah, you can get these writers and you get this person with all this experience. But if this person really talented, they can do it. That's how I feel. I feel like you can do it. And we're going to miss out on something that ain't nobody else doing because it's you.
I think a part of, one of my introductions to Russ was Losing Control. That's when I was like, one thing I tell people is if you know or want a record to work, you got to have that who the fuck is that factor. Like, it sounds so good that I don't give a goddamn who it is. I just need to know who the fuck is that. And that's what Losing Control was for me. And I felt like he embodies the idea of, I don't give a damn who doing what. I'm going to stay true to who I am, and I'm going to stay true to my lane. And I can feel like you try to embed that in the artist, and it doesn't always, like, nigga, do you.
Yeah, I mean,
you know
that's the whole key. And because I tell people the reason why an artist like Russ can win is because he being authentic. like losing control. That's a real life situation. When you listen to the lyrics, you go listen to the lyrics, listen to the song. It's something that everybody can relate to, because at the end of the day, when we keep it like 1,000, we all human and we all go through the same things. We all go through heartbreaks, getting our hopes up and being let down. Sometimes we feel confident, like we the king of this mug, you know what I'm saying? So just put it out there like that in your own way, and then people gonna relate to it. Stop serving the hype. And the first record that I felt like Russ really had something was a song called Goodbye. And it's like one of his biggest records. Mm-hmm. And this song is really about him finding out his girl is a prostitute.
But he sang that shit so smooth.
Yeah, and like to me, I was like, I still never forget. I was in the record store. I was on that. Matt, like, Russ just made this new song. He got this project coming out. He broke up with a girl and stuff,
How old was he then?
I don't know. Russ had to be somewhere around like maybe 21 or 22. Something like that. Cause when I heard it, I was like, bro, this like, you sound like some Eminem. Like, Eminem get that anger.
With Kim.
Mm-hmm. But he sound like Adele. Like, how Adele had that first album, like by her dude, she all, like, it was like you combined this. So I sent it to my homeboy Sin over in Europe. And at that time, he was like the top journalist for this site called Busca P, which is like the biggest hip hop site in Europe. And he wrote this thing calling Russ the Eminem of Atlanta, and put the little video up and stuff. And it took off after that, So that's why I say people need to just be real in their music. Just be you in your music. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to have a good time, whether you're going through this or that. If you put something out there that people can relate to, you're going to garner some fans.
I like Russ because it's like he released a lot of stuff on YouTube. And, it never really disappoints you, because it's like it's a vibe. You just listen to it, and it's always something catchy. And then it's like a month, 2 months, 3 months might go by. Next thing you know, the shit might be platinum.
Yeah.
And then he might shoot a video, but it's organic. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like he forcing nothing. Like what's the new song he got out now?
With Ed Sheeran?
Yeah. No, the one before that.
London?
It's with a girl.
Oh, you talking about Handsomer?
That one.
Handsomer,
yeah.
That shit was a slow. It's like it was in the oven. It was just cooking.
Yeah.
And then that shit just, you know what I'm saying? It took off, and then by the time he did the video, it was gone.
Man, it be so crazy though, Bishop. Cause like, man, I remember when he first sent me Handsomer, I was riding right past Grady on the expressway. He sent me that gent, and I was like, boy, this a hit.
It beat. That shit
I was like,
beat.
this gonna go crazy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's funny because when you say that, you had that excitement, and then you see what happens. Like when we were on the road and everybody singing it and going crazy, man, it's a dope feeling. Mm-hmm. Super dope feeling.